Welcome to Showboat, a series of podcasts from the Battleship North Carolina in Wilmington. This is the second episode of the Battlestar Collection series. I'm Danielle, Wallace, Programs Director here at the Battleship North Carolina. And in this episode, I'm going to be speaking with Shawn Burch and Justin Avery of Edwards Incorporated, a full-service industrial contractor. I am here at Edwards of Wilmington talking with Shawn Burch and Justin Avery, and they are responsible for the steel silhouettes that we sell with the Battlestar Collection. And I am so excited to talk to them both because I think that they have a very unique and different perspective that they have. So, Shawn or Justin, how did Edwards as a company get started here in Wilmington?
Well, we thank you for this opportunity to speak with you today, and we're grateful to be a part of the Battleship silhouette fabrication, and we're looking forward to greater things and how we can help you guys even more. But to answer your question, how did Edwards get started in Wilmington? Well, to go back a little further in time, Edwards started in 1979 by a fellow by the name of Daryl Edwards, who currently still owns the company. And he started with a pickup truck and hard-working attitude and some common sense, and he started a business of just 3 to 4 employees and has now turned it into a large organization with 400 to 500 employees with several locations, one being in Spring Hope, North Carolina, which is our headquarters, the second one being in Greenville, North Carolina, which started in 1993, and then our Wilmington location, which started in 1995. And we pride ourselves in we're a multifaceted general contractor / industrial engineering and construction firm. We do many projects that range from small scale fabrication components like we see here today to large scale industrial projects, which is how we got started in Wilmington. We do a lot of plant service and plant maintenance for large chemical processing, pharmaceutical processing, and just local area processing facilities. And Mr. Edwards had saw the need back in the 90s to venture out into different locations in North Carolina, and thankfully Wilmington was one of them. I've been here with Edwards for about 15 years now and have seen Edwards grow and prosper in many ways, mainly because of their leadership and great work ethic and wonderful employees that give an honest day's work for an honest day's pay. And Edwards, what I like about Edwards is we are solely a North Carolina-based company, and I'm thankful for that because we reside in the most beautiful state of North Carolina, from the mountains to the seashore. So I'm thankful to be a part of Edwards, thankful to be a North Carolina resident, and thankful to do this opportunity with the Battleship, and we're just excited for greater things to come.
Well, we are so excited as well. And Mr. Justin, I know that you came into this. And Justin, how long have you been here with Edwards?
I've been with Edwards for right at 3 years now. I went to machining school at Cape Fear Community College. When I was in machining school, I started at a plastic injection mold shop. So I've been in the CNC world for right at 6 years now. So my grandfather, I owe a lot to him. He's passed away, but he passed a lot of knowledge on to me. He was a machinist by trade, so I like to think it runs in my blood a little bit, but yeah.
Well, that is so cool because I know we had a problem trying to find somebody who could cut the steel. We had initially this idea of, wow, it would be really neat if we can get silhouettes cut out of this steel. And so it's just great that y'all are literally right down the road from us. And so that was so good. And it's worked out so well. So I do have a question. I know that there's laser jet and a water jet. What's the difference really between the two, and how do they work?
Your water jet is basically, it seems very technical in the whole aspect of it, but it's actually fairly simple on how it works. All it does is high pressure water at 55,000 psi, and the one that we use here is not very adjustable, not unless you're doing etching, which we did for you guys on the BB squares and so forth. And it's just garnet, basically sand, and it's fed at a rate of whatever kind of orifice you use. Basically, you play with it, whatever kind of steel you're cutting, and it goes through what we call a mixing tube. It's just it's called .030, so it's 30 thousandths. So it's very small. But basically, high pressure water and sand does your cutting, and it's it's surprisingly accurate for what it can do. For what it does, it's but before I come here, I never did any what we call 2D work or table work, such as laser and water jet. I was all 3D, lathe and mill. So I was very, very intrigued when I seen what we could do here. I was like, man, this is going to be pretty sweet. So as far as cutting, which you can see, we got a few pieces in front of us. The thickness on the Battleship material ranges so much. I mean, it's up to 3/4. Sometimes after you pierce, you may have a 1/4 inch of material. It's pretty neat. It was a big task for me, being fairly new in the 2D world. So I was like, yeah, I'll tackle it. But yeah, it's pretty fun. But the laser, it's nowhere capable of cutting this stuff. A laser is very, very finicky. But a water jet, if you put it under it, it's going to cut it. You just got to know how to tame it.
Thank you so much for explaining that, Justin. And Shawn, just a question for you. When you see some of our production orders coming through, what goes through your mind?
Well, we're very excited with these orders because it's different than what we're normally working with. We're usually cutting structural steel base plates and different structural steel applications. But this here, to see our production, to see our capabilities being used for memorabilia, for something that means so much to the greater Wilmington area and the veterans that have served and been a part of this monumental task, it means a lot to us that we can participate in something like this. We're always excited to see these opportunities come before us, and also it gives my team here an ability to kind of stretch their design thoughts and processes as well, because you guys came to us with some ideas, and we were able to use those ideas and offer some additional suggestions and ideas. And look at what we have now, some propellers and some fouled anchors and some non-fouled anchors and some ship silhouettes with the little plane cutouts and the turrets, the gun turrets. So it's just an awesome opportunity, and we're thankful for it. And we're excited because it gives us a chance to stretch our abilities and to stretch our design thoughts and characteristics. It gives a different perspective when you're cutting something out that means something to someone that has been in service on this ship, or has even had grandparents, or in some cases great grandparents that's actually served on this ship. So we love it. We're excited about it, and we're thankful to be a part of it. We've done some service in the past where we've actually performed welding services on the ship itself, and just to be able to work in that environment and to share some stories and hear some stories about what's been accomplished by this ship, how it's been a blessing to state of North Carolina and to our country. It's great to be a part of it, and this is a little way that we can give back and be a blessing to all those that that have been influenced and touched by the battleship itself.
Well, I remember seeing some of the first samples come through, and we had asked y'all if it would be possible to get like a silhouette of the battleship and maybe a silhouette of the state and some other little things. And when we got those samples back, and it seemed like they were back within a day or two, I know that I was just absolutely flabbergasted, felt faint because they were so cool. We asked you, can you do the Battleship? And then y'all did it. So how did you come up with some of that process?
It's very beneficial to me. I love it, absolutely love it. And I do always like to give what the customer wants, but I love when a customer says, hey, this is what I kind of want. You run with it. See what you can do for me. And it kind of gives me a little bit of freedom, and then I can send you something. And then, I think me and you discussed quite a bit. I think we did 3 or 4 different ones on the Battleship. Can you add the Kingfisher plane? Hey, can we do the turrets up? The turrets were down to start with. It was quite a few different things, and I think our final product come out very well. I'm very pleased, from the 3-blade prop to the fouled anchor to, we have the ghost coming, or we have the ghost there. Just the squares. I like the squares, honestly, just with the etch in there, just because it's something. The etching on that stuff is very tedious, and it's when it looks good, I like it because it gives that rustic look to it. Once it pierces to that raw material, and then it reacts with air, it gives that surface rust to it. So it's like it's been that way its whole life.
One thing that I failed to mention earlier that I believe really makes this project so unique is the fact that this is the very same material. This is pieces from the hull of the ship that's been used to cut these components out. And there are difference in thicknesses, different variations in the profile, meaning the rust and the degradation of the steel. It's every part, although it may be the same silhouette or it may be the same designed piece part, everyone is unique and everyone is different. And I believe that sets itself apart from just standard fabrication. We really do look at opportunities to serve our customers, and we have not only appreciated the participation in this, but the camaraderie and the relationship that has come out of making these components with our team here at Edwards and the team there at the Battleship. So it's been a great working experience for us all.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. And I have to ask y'all, which is your favorite silhouette?
Well, I like the Battleship silhouette itself because it's so intricate in detail, and it's just, we've got variations in sizes. I believe there's 3 different sizes, and all 3 of those show a little bit more detail from the smallest to the largest, and that's my favorite because you can see so much difference in the material and in the scale, and with just the uniqueness of the ship in itself, from the gun turrets to the lift for the small plane on the back to even the antennas on the top.
I will honestly, I do like the squares, but I think I'm going to have to agree with Shawn as far as the intricacy of the Battleship, and that was honestly the toughest because it's so much detail in a profile from the side of the Battleship, but you can't actually get that in such a small scale. So it was tough but fun, so much fun to do, to say, hey, I got to have this detail, but it was there's a lot of work in it, but I enjoyed it, and it's probably, as far as looking at, it's my favorite piece. And I forgot to mention earlier, my great grandfather, which I did not get to meet, was actually on the USS Arizona. And when I told my grandmother, which is it's just me and her that live down here at the coast, and once I told her about it, oh man, she was super excited. So it means something different to everyone, like we were mentioning before. So it's such a thing, as far as history, as far as sentimental, aspect value of it, to each and every person that gets these pieces, or that's what, like Shawn was saying, that's pretty cool. Knowing you had a hand in something that somebody's going to cherish, pass it on. Hey, my grandfather was on this ship, or hey, your great aunt was on this ship, whatever it may have been. It's because you can't put a price on memories. So that's the cool part to me.
Justin, my mouth is just dropped open when you said you can't put a price on memories, because that's absolutely true. You really can't. And the steel, it really is special. And we made a conscious decision, I think, at the very beginning, and I think it was the right decision, to let the steel remain raw and rough. It has not been refinished except for the cutting that y'all do to it. And I think that makes really all the difference. I remember one of the samples that came in was, I think, just something y'all did up for us in aluminum. And that was very cool as well, but it wasn't quite the same. And I'm going to drop a little bomb on you both, but what we have coming up, or what I was thinking about, is a North Carolina line for the steel. That, North Carolina, first in flight. So, biplane, start thinking, and I see the eyes just getting a little bit bigger. I'm thinking maybe a lighthouse, something that would represent the state, because I love the fact that Edwards is a North Carolina company. I love that, of course, we are the Battleship North Carolina. I love, too, that we're using North Carolina artisans to work with this material. And so the sky is the limit. I'm just so excited. How long does this process take when you're cutting out some of these different pieces?
It's all depends on how many inches each piece is. Due to the thickness, the variation of each piece, it runs fairly slow. A water jet's slow in general. You'd be surprised. If people come and watch, like, wow, is it really moving? It is. Trust me, it's moving, but it gets its precision from it as well. As you can see, you can see the kind of ridges on each piece from the water jet, but it's hardly running a little less than an inch a minute maybe on some of these parts. And it's slow, and I'm slowing it down due to the variation in the thickness of each piece as well, just to be more cautious per se. And it's especially like I said, when it was piercing. If you guys, I wish you could stop by one day and I'll show you when it pierces, the amount it knocks off, that surface, which is, I can't really do anything about, but it's unreal, and then it I've had pieces where it's quarter-inch difference, from one end of the battleship to another, and next, the middle of it may be this thin, But our water jet can cut up to 12 inches, so it's an amazing machine.
One of the things that I would like to do is maybe get some video of you running the machine and of the machine working itself, and going to get some pictures with the silhouettes and y'all with the silhouettes for our website. And of course, these pieces are available on battlestarcollection.com. Is there anything else anybody would like to say? Anything?
We just, again, appreciate the opportunity, and we're looking forward to the other projects that you guys are currently working on. And it may mean we have to take a field trip or two to the Outer Banks, or to Justin, we might have to take a trip. You know what I'm saying? So we're looking forward to it, and we're just thankful to be a part.
Thank y'all again, Shawn, Justin, for taking the time to speak to me today. I've learned a lot, and we at the Battleship definitely appreciate everything that y'all have done for us, that Edwards has done. Y'all have been wonderful to work with, and each steel piece does come with a certificate of authenticity, stating that it is actually Battleship steel. So thank you again. Thank you for listening to this episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. From the Battleship North Carolina in Wilmington, North Carolina, please check out the Showboat Podcast webpage on battleshipnorthcarolina.com. We have put some pictures of Shawn and Justin at the water jet machine on that page. Hopefully, some video will be coming soon. Of course, these products are all available for sale on battlestarcollection.com.